And welcome to the Maasai Mara. It's 5 a.m. You can see two cheetah there. Those are two brothers, and that's their mother lying off to the side. You may have also just faintly heard some lions calling. I don't think they're too far away, maybe a mile or two. My name's Scott Dyson. I'm teamed up with Chandra on camera, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you on board this sneak peek little safari before we go live with the Nat Geo TV show in half an hour. So we've got great prospects lined up. These are not the only cheetah you're going to be seeing this morning. Brent has got the two sisters that we've been spending time with, and Jamie is with the Sausage Tree Pride. This is Safari Live.
Good morning and welcome to Safari Live, everybody, for a celebration of the 2017 wildebeest migration. My name is James Hendry, and we would love to hear from you during the course of this sneak peek, if you like. You can talk to us on whatever platform you're using, and for those of you in the US, of course, you can join us from 6 o'clock this time, Central African time. That's 11 p.m. Eastern time in the US on Nat Geo Wild. We're going to be hopefully following those cats on the hunt, and we're also going to be celebrating all of the highlights that we've had over the 4-month migration season that we've been here in the Mara. Let's head across to yet more spotted cats with the inimitable and irascible Brent Leo Smith.
And James forgot the cold. Yes, well, with Amani's two daughters, who I recently found out have got names. And this is, of course, the sneak peek preview for the big Nat Geo Wild migration finale. These cheetahs are hungry. We've been now following them for 2 days. Last night they had a horrible night being harassed by hyenas. And my name is Brent Leo Smith, and I've got Craig on camera, and I'm trying to remember the correct pronunciation of those two beautiful girls that are now having a snooze, or they're hopefully still having a snooze. Yes, in the pitch black. We're looking at them in infrared light at the moment, so naked to the human eye and to animals' eyes, but the camera isn't able to bring you what is being hidden by darkness. And if I remember correctly, it's Ashe? Is that right? Is it Benson? Ashene and Nalanga. So we're going across now to our FLIR thermal to look at Ashene and Nalanga in thermal imaging from FLIR. So Ashene means the very relaxed one, and Nalanga means the one who crosses rivers. Hi, Carol. Carol would like to know, do female cheetah mark their territory? Indeed they do. These two girls have not got a set territory yet, but female cheetah will mark their territory most definitely. Now, we've been following them since about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. They didn't move much, and at about midnight, some hyenas chased them into some rocky ground, and we lost them. And Craig and I were in quite a bit of panic, but we managed to find them again just after 3. They're very hungry, and they're now taking a little rest, but not too far ahead of them are herds of Thompson's gazelle and impala. But while our cats have a cat nap, it seems like Jamie's much bigger tawny ones are on the prowl.
They're on the prowl before the sun rises, and while Brent is sitting with hungry cheetah, we've spent the night following hungry lions, and they've been very, very busy this evening. Good morning to all of you. My name is Jamie, and this morning Dave is on camera with me. And welcome to the preview of what you can expect over the next 2.5 hours during the course of our migration finale. We're with the Sausage Tree Pride, and they are already gone. Let's go and catch up with them. We are with the Sausage Tree Pride, and we've been following them for the last 2 nights. We've watched them try and fail to catch buffalo, zebra, coax hartebeest last night, and all in all, they're missing out on the richness that came with the migration. We're up in the Northern Triangle, and unfortunately for these lions, the wildebeest have left this area, leaving them with just the normal residents to keep themselves and their 4 cubs fed. We're following along behind them, and obviously there's a little cub walking in front. There we go. We're following along behind them. Obviously, I'm cautiously moving along the side rather than directly behind them, just in case there's something that pops out in front of them that they want to hunt. I want to make sure that they are not illuminated in any way. They are empty-bellied. They haven't eaten in 2 days. Oh, Karen, you want to know if a lioness, oh, there we go, cubs playing, would ever get kicked out of her pride? And the answer to that is no, not really. The bonds between these females is so incredibly strong, it lasts most of the time a lifetime. The only time I've ever known that to happen was a female that was unable to conceive cubs. And she didn't come into estrus, and eventually she sort of started spending more time on the outskirts of the pride. But it wasn't that she was kicked out. It was just simply that she no longer felt as though she belonged, and she moved off of her own will. Oh, look at this, practicing stalking skills. While we follow along our very much awake lions, let's go across back to Scott so we can have a look at his cheetah having a snooze.
Well, isn't this a cute scene? This is Malika, the mother of the 2 boys, and I'm told you're discussing lions being kicked out of their prides. This lady is going to be booting her 2 boys out of home fairly soon, and it'll be very interesting to see where they go and what they do, and also how long it takes before she gives birth to the next litter. For now, though, as you can see, they're fast asleep. They did manage to make a kill at some point yesterday. It must have been between around 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. because by the time we got back to them in the afternoon, after leaving them in the morning, they were full-bellied. So they're not too full. I'm guessing they caught something small, maybe a Thompson's gazelle. But they were successful in making a kill. So sadly we weren't there to catch up with the action, but maybe we will be today. So hopefully that is the case. Hi Judith, great to have you on board with us. You would like to know, how long will these 2 brothers stay together? It could be for the rest of their life. It could only be for a few months. Nobody knows, and we'll be sure to be following them as closely as we possibly can to find out how they end up. But like I said, there's no set rule or remedy for Cheetah brothers. It is likely that they will make the most of the fact that they can join a coalition or start a coalition quite easily, but maybe they will, grow differently, grow apart. At the moment, you can see they look to be best friends, huddled up in a little ball there, and they certainly were very playful with one another yesterday. So time will tell. Who knows, maybe they will adopt a few other males into their coalition if they do in fact start one up, just like the Musketeer coalition have in all likelihood done. It's hugely unlikely that all 5 of those males are brothers. So, like I say, time will tell. Now, we're going to send you up to the Migration Control Officer Command Lieutenant, Mr. Henry, up on the Olololo escarpment to let you know exactly where all of us are out in the field.
I do wonder if I will ever be promoted to the rank of General of the Migration Control Room. Speaking of which, this is the Migration Control Room. For those of you who are watching us for the first time on whatever social media platform you have chosen, this is the Migration Control Room. Please do keep talking to us. And remember, those of you who are in the US, you can keep watching. Hopefully those cheetah will get up, the lions will hunt something, and Brent's cheetah will also go hunting sort of around 6 a.m. That is Central African time, 11 p.m. Eastern time in the US on Nat Geo Wild. Right, here is the map. 370,000 acres is the Maasai Mara, and we have 3 teams out. You've met them all. Jamie's over here. I'm just about, well, say 1,000 feet above her, not too far away. She's just sort of down below the escarpment there with the Sausage Tree Pride. Brent is over here. He's actually probably more accurately over there. And so that's what's going on there. And then we've got Scott down in this region over here. So we've got a pretty good spread of what's going on here. And of course, this is a migration celebration. And most of the migration has dissipated down towards the Serengeti. But the last remnants are sitting around where Scott is, over there. So that's what's going on in the state of play. And I just wanted to mention there, Brent did mention the technology that we are using. Scott, I think, probably gave, in fact, Jamie's picture probably gave the best representation. She cannot see those lions. It is pitch black outside. She's filming them purely with infrared light, and that means that they can't see, well, they can see her because they're lions, they've got very good eyes, but there is no look there. Okay, we've got Brent now on the hunt with his cheetah.
Oh, they just narrowly missed a scrub hare. It took off. Let's get a bit closer. Now, these two girls, as I said, are hungry. They have been losing quite a lot of kills to hyena in this area. Excuse me. There is a serious amount of hyenas. But they are heading into a good area in terms of potential prey. Scrub hare isn't going to cut it for two of them. The last snack they had was a songuru, which is the Swahili for scrub hare. Just trying to see anything, nothing yet.
Oh dear, it seems as though Brent has disappeared off your screen, but that of course is because he's got to follow wherever the cheetah are taking him. And one of the things that often happens to us during the course of these nightly drives, as we follow the animals, is that they take us places where we simply cannot follow. Fortunately, I now know this area like the back of my hand, and we should catch up with these lions very shortly. And that, of course, is where this thing that's sticking out of the top of my head over there, this thing over here, the FLIR thermal imaging is a huge help when it comes to following these animals at night. While we're watching them hunt, we cannot use our lights on them, which means that we need to be able to see exactly what it is we need to do and where we need to go. And so being able to pick up on their thermal image on that screen is hugely helpful. There we go. That wasn't too difficult. Caught up with them. I'm just going to turn my headlights off because she is sniffing the air. She is searching for something to feed on. Now, last night, this was where they were hunting zebra. And generally speaking, zebra are slightly more intelligent than wildebeest, in my opinion. They tend not to run away completely. They tend to run a little distance, they don't panic, and then they stop, which means that the zebra herd that they were hunting at this around about midnight last night are still around this area somewhere. These lionesses know that, and I think that's what they're searching for. And a very good morning to Maria. Thank you for sending through your question. During the migration, yes, we've seen lions catch multiple, both zebra and wildebeest in one go. Generally speaking, though, especially at this particular time when there's less of an abundance of animals for them to hunt, look how she's listening. You see how she's listening, sniffing, deciding on her next move. When there's less of an abundance, you'll usually find that the lions will focus on one target. And these two lionesses are the only two in this particular pride, and they've got 4 cubs between them. So it pays for them to work together as a seamless team, which of course is why lions are so successful. They've also got 4 young cubs to keep fed, which is a task that is becoming more and more difficult the more that they grow. This is a pride that we've actually followed for a significant period of our time in the Maasai Mara. She's looking back to see where her support system is. Earlier on this evening, she actually lost one of the other lioness, and she spent forever trying to find her again. Proud. The reason, and it's a very common question that we get asked, the reason that they don't attack us or jump into the vehicle is not because they don't know that we're here. So you're wondering why they don't smell us. They do smell us. They know that we're here. I think that the vehicle scent hides our scent quite significantly. But essentially, they've grown up in the Maasai Mara with safari vehicles moving around them, whereas much of a part of their landscape is, well, not quite, but almost as much of a part of their landscape is a termite mound or a tree. It is something that they're very familiar with. They don't see us as a source of food. Yes, I think that they know that there are people in the cars. There are people that disagree with me, and I guess we might not know the answer to that. But they don't see us as food at all. And I mean, a couple of times this evening, the lionesses have skimmed right past Dave and myself, almost brushing up against the side of the car. So they are completely comfortable with us. And that is something that we feel is an immense privilege. Come on, girl. You're rapidly losing the hours of darkness, and it's going to get even harder once the sun comes up. What's your next move going to be? Of course, it is a complete role reversal between our lions and Scott's cheetah. As our lions are thinking about how life's getting harder, the cheetah will be thinking about how life's getting easier.
Well, that is certainly the case, and just like Jamie's lions are completely relaxed with her presence, as you can see, these cheetah are relaxed with ours. Fast asleep. They're only about 10 meters away from the vehicle, and I'm hoping they're not going to spend too much of the morning sleeping. Excuse me, that's for sure. It'll be wonderful to have them on the move. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful morning. There's not a cloud in the sky, and I'm definitely looking forward to the sun popping up over the horizon. It's been quite a chilly night. Now, we are the only people out in the Mara. We are hugely privileged to be in this situation. There are the only 3 vehicles traversing this massive and wonderful ecosystem are our 3 Safari Live vehicles, and aren't we so lucky to have that privilege and to be able to take you guys along on the ride with all this cool infrared and thermal equipment. I'm certainly loving it, or have been loving every moment of it, and these nights out have certainly been a highlight for me. There's so much interesting stuff that we've gained insight to in the very short time that we've been here in the grand scheme of things, and who knows what more interesting things we'll uncover in the coming months and years. It'll be interesting. Now, like I said a little bit earlier, these cheetah did have a little bit of a snack yesterday, but I think that they certainly do have some space for another snack this morning. And even if that's not the case, these 2 playful boys that this mother gave birth to about 1.5 years ago, like I said, are playful, young and curious, and even if they're not hugely full, they could end up practicing their hunting skills. Sarah, it's great to have you with us, and you just mentioned that you can't believe you are on the safari with us, just looking at it through your cell phone, and isn't it wonderful how technology can bring us all together so that we can share these incredible safari moments with you guys. It certainly is fascinating and boggles my mind every day that we manage to send a picture directly from this vehicle in high definition to you, either on your cell phone, on your computer, TV. And it's great to have you with us, Sarah. Why don't you use your cell phone to let a few of your friends know that there's going to be a TV show starting shortly. The more people we have on board, the more fun it becomes. And again, with the ease of technology these days, we can all invite our friends to join in on the action. And I certainly have. Have you? But please do let everyone know it is the last of the migration series, and we would love to have as many people on board as possible. Like I said, it is the finale, and we've got great prospects, as I'm sure you've gathered already. 2 different sets of cheetah, Jamie with her lions, and like James said a little bit earlier, we do have some migrating herds of wildebeest. The slackers at the back of the herd are not too far from us. I can actually hear quite a few of them. There's a few different herds dotted out in this area, and I look forward to showing you them a little bit later when the sun pops up and when these cheetahs take us on a peruse. David, you'd like to know if the cheetah are vulnerable while they're asleep? I guess yes. I mean, they're going to be more vulnerable than when they're awake, but they don't sleep quite as deeply as us as humans, as a general rule. Their ears are always pricked up, and they are aware that it is dangerous. The thing is, with the area they've decided to sleep in here, they're very safe because it's a very, very open area, so a lion would have to be an absolute ninja to be able to sneak up on them. It's also a still morning, which means that anything approaching them, they will be able to hear their footsteps from quite some distance. On a windy or rainy morning or night or day, that is when it could become more dangerous for cheetah, or if they were in thicker vegetation. Good stuff. Jamie's lions are up and on the move again, so why don't you go and tag along?
Tagging along is exactly what we plan on doing. Our lioness is on the move. The rest of her family is showing a certain reluctance to keep moving. And I have to sympathize with the poor little cubs. Their mums have kept them moving throughout most of the night. And they've been playing and gambling, and all in all making the lives of the lionesses that much harder. And now I think they're feeling just a little bit exhausted. The lionesses may be exhausted as well after 2 failed hunting attempts that we've seen, but they don't have the luxury of sleep just yet. They've got to find some food, and the sooner they do it, the easier it will be. Of course, lions absolutely can and do hunt during the day. It's just easier for them in this terrain at night. Poppy, you want to know what is the biggest pride that I have ever seen? And the answer to that is I have seen a pride of 20 lions. That's the biggest pride that I have ever seen. There are rumored super prides, not rumored, but there are things that have been termed super prides. I'm not sure how I feel about that name, but they number up to 40 lions at a time. That's unusual, though. Your average number sits only around about between 5 to 10 lionesses, and you'll find that that's very much reflected out here in the Maasai Mara. Next door to this particular lion pride is the Angama pride that some of you will be familiar with. That consists of 4 lionesses and 13 young cubs, and we've been listening to them roaring throughout the night. You can see she's almost urging the rest of her family to come along, or at least her backup, her partner in crime, the second lioness. It'll be much easier if she has company when she goes off hunting. You can hear the wind is howling, or perhaps you can hear the wind is howling. That in turn is also an advantage for hunting for these cats. As soon as the wind starts to blow, it masks the sound of their stalking, and it also masks their scent as well. So it really does help them when the wind blows like this. Stormy weather, dark weather, that is fantastic for the lions when they are hunting. Oh, she's got to go off in search of something. I can see that the sky is starting to lighten. I'm just going to look back to see if I can see the rest of her pride. They are so reluctant to move. Come on, guys. Time is marching on. They're far away from us now. She's got up and left without them. All you'll see is just the glow of their eyes. The cubs over there, very much reluctant to move. I know it's very far away, and I know that it is dim, but as it gets lighter, you will become more and more familiar with these lions. And of course, you can join us for the next 2 hours on a live safari. I'm sure you're dying to know what's happened with Brent and his 2 cheetah girls. Let's go without any further ado and find out.
Well, we're looking through the thermal camera again. You can see the heat signatures of these cheetah getting warmer and warmer, and we're starting to see a few little spots of heat in the distance that are potential prey. But this cheetah just suddenly looked up that tree that she's walking past, and I'm going to see if Craig can show you what she was looking at. There we go. She nearly got defecated on. Yeah, there's a marabou stalk in thermal up on top that dropped a bomb that nearly landed on our poor cheetah. But you can just start to see those specks in the distance. Those definitely look like cheetah-sized potential prey. And we're going to try and keep up with her now. This is incredibly exciting. This is the perfect time of the day for cheetah hunts. And it is, I don't know how to explain this. I'm absolutely thrilled to be following these 2 girls, and they're 2 of my favorites from the whole migration series, and I cannot wait to see them hopefully get some breakfast. They've been quite unlucky. A lot of their kills have been robbed by hyena. Oh, let's have one quick look before we go. One of the girls has found a little puddle and is having a drink. Get that energy and stamina up, my lovely lady, because it's time to go on the hunt. Now, let's go see what Scott's cheetahs are up to.
No changes here, and the cheetah are still snoozing. What is changing is that dawn is beginning to break. There's a beautiful hue on the horizon that you won't be able to see because we're in infrared, but you'll definitely be able to see that it is getting much, much lighter. And as you can see, it is a beautiful cloudless morning. The sun is going to pop up somewhere over there in the direction we're looking now. And why don't you zoom in a little bit more there, Jean, to actually go all the way into the horizon and see if we can't see any gnu's there, a little bit to the left, or am I imagining things? Because I can definitely, there we go, because I could hear a lot of their audio. So there is one of the slacking herds who are bringing up the rear end of the migration as they head back south into Tanzania. Wonderful. Sadly, they're a little bit too far away for you guys to hear, but it's probably a kilometer away, I'm guessing, so a little bit too far for our microphones to pick up, but I can just faintly hear them. And it's a noise that I'm certainly going to miss hearing, because it is such an incredible sound to hear when there are so many of them making it. I remember on many occasions being out at night, being surrounded by these herds, going crazy, gossiping with one another, and I've always wondered to myself, how on earth do they know who's talking and who to listen to and what exactly they are discussing? But it is certainly a wonderful highlight of the migration that I'm definitely going to miss. We're going to send you back to Brent with his cheetah on the move.
Well, they're on the move again, moving towards the Musiara Marsh now, and there's an absolute plethora of little game around there. Thompson's gazelle, Grant's gazelle, and possibly even some impala. You can see one of the vehicles going to get ready for the balloon safari. Oh yeah, let's keep up with them while they're on the move. This is very exciting. It is the exact right time of the day to be with Cheetah. But if you want to see, bumpity bump, what they get up to next, join us on Nat Geo Wild, 11 p.m. Eastern, for the grand finale of what's been an absolutely magnificent, fantastic, spectacular, marvelous, mercurial, I think I'm going to run out of words shortly and probably fall into a hole if I'm not careful, migration spectacular with Safari Live. Now, the sun is going to rise shortly to the east of us, and it looks like the cheetahs are going to wait until that sunrise to head off on the hunt towards all those smaller animals. So we will see you on TV immediately after this.